It's Thursday of the Spanish Grand Prix. First day at the track today. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to catching up with everybody. Looking forward to seeing all of the team's hospitality buildings in the paddock again, and all the people that work in those. Of course, it'll be the first race for them. So a very different looking weekend, I guess, inside the paddock this weekend with all that lot here. You find that the teams tend to bring a lot more guests because they have their own hospitality places to entertain them. They do a lot more events. So there's a different vibe in the European season, but it's a good vibe. There was a technical update, actually ahead of the Baku Grand Prix, the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, talking about or allowing the teams to move their rear view mirrors from the side of the chassis to be mounted onto the halo if they so wished. It's all about really that the drivers are complaining that it's difficult to see out of those mirrors where they are because they've had to be positioned out wider than they were last year to be able to see past around the halo. What I wonder is whether we will see anybody having looked into that and found an aero benefit. It's unlikely they'll actually make that change because it's better vision in the rear view mirrors. That's a very small concern for most teams. But if someone's found some way of making that an aero benefit, I wonder if anyone's gone to those lengths ahead of this Spanish Grand Prix this weekend. We shall see. I'm off for breakfast and then off to the track, so I will update you all when I get back later on this evening, when hopefully that space right there will be occupied by my bag. All my complaints yesterday to EasyJet may have borne some fruit, and that they say that there is a chance my bag will be here when I get back to this hotel this evening. Fingers crossed. Right, decent day at the track today. Pretty busy. But actually, hey, look at this! Look at that! It's arrived! My bag has arrived! Bloody ripped. But it's here! Finally! Oh, that's so good. That's such good news. I tell you what, I lost all my clothes, obviously, were all gone. My Sky uniform, my laptop charger, as I said, those things are all really annoying, like toiletries, toothbrush. They're all fine. They're all easily replaceable, though. It was annoying, but they were easily replaceable. The one thing that wasn't so easily replaceable was, of course, the skateboard. So I'm so happy to be reunited with that. That is great news. Brilliant. Right. So, today at the racetrack, we finally kind of got to see some of the updates. Not all. Most of the teams have still kept them sort of tucked, hidden away for most of today, Thursday at the track. We won't really see what everyone's actually brought until Friday when the cars hit the track in practice. Just before I left the circuit, in fact, or just after I left the circuit, I just seen on Twitter as I was on the way home some pictures of the McLaren, the new nose and front wing. That's quite extraordinary. I will try and pop a picture in this video if I can find one once I put this thing together. Really sort of quite ugly actually, sort of triple nostril arrangement. So three channels or scoops or nostrils right on the front, makes it look very ugly, but they lead to a sort of great big cape, much more pronounced cape and much longer and more expansive cape than we've seen on the front of the Red Bull, for example, or what was previously on the McLaren, and also two big almost like winglets, I guess, running the entire length of the nose, right from the very tip right up the side, just creating two very fast flowing channels of air, which I imagine, and I need to look at this in more detail, as I say, I've only just seen it, I imagine are there to help speed up some of that airflow and trying to retain the attachment of the airflow to the surface of the chassis as it comes up the nose and then over the top and onto the top of the chassis. What you don't want in that situation is the airflow detaching from the top surface of the nose, because then it becomes uncontrollable airflow, and it also becomes very messy as you get towards the halo area and some of those sensitive areas towards the back of the car. So if you can keep that fast flowing airflow attached to the top surfaces of the car, is then under your control as an aerodynamicist. You've got that airflow under control, you can guide it where you want it, you can send it to the right places. So I imagine that's what they're for. So I'll look into these things in more detail when we see them properly on Friday, but that was really interesting. Ferrari, I mentioned it this morning. Was anyone going to come up with the new wing mirrors hanging off the halo? Ferrari have done it. Not only have they done it, but they've added some fairly big, pronounced winglets off the top of those wing mirrors. Again, doesn't particularly look attractive. Certainly not what the FIA would have been looking for or expecting, perhaps, when they loosened that ruling to allow the teams to start mounting mirrors off the halo. I wouldn't be surprised if that gets reined back in, because it's not what the halo is designed for. And actually the last thing we really want on these Formula One cars is more little flippy flappy winglets appearing in new places. Anyway, it's on there for now. You will see it on the track tomorrow. I actually spoke to a few designers today, or engineers, who have all looked at this, of course. You know, there is going to be some kind of aero advantage to mounting the wing mirrors in this new position. Most teams, though, don't have the resource, the almost unlimited resource that Ferrari have, to get this through their testing back at the factory, to get it to a stage where they can actually bolt it onto a car, and have it done that quickly. The ruling was only announced or released to the teams in Baku, so just 2 weeks ago, less than 2 weeks ago, and now the first ones have appeared on the car. I fully expect there to be more and more of these as the season rolls on, and some of the teams with slightly less budget or slightly less resource are able to start implementing them into their designs. But lots to look forward to, lots to be quite excited about tomorrow. I think you're going to see lots of aero rakes bolted to the cars, lots of pressure tapping, pressure sensors, measuring lots of these new aero parts that are going to be on the car, lots of flow vis being used all over the place in free practice 1. That's what it'll all be about, collecting data, trying to correlate that data to the wind tunnel, before we then get into free practice 2, when it's really going to be all about trying to understand how the tyres behave in these conditions on this brand new surface here in Barcelona. And there is talk of rain. We had some rain yesterday on Wednesday. There is more talk of rain, potentially even in qualifying. And because this track surface is so smooth, it's brand new tarmac, it's very smooth, probably going to be very low grip in that sense. When it rains, there is some concern that actually it could be incredibly low grip. That's concern, you could call it concern. I suppose that could be great for us in terms of providing a spectacle. So plenty to look forward to, really excited about the weekend as ever. I will bring you more updates as and when I have them.